So, I just got a bonus from work. Well, my in-laws, they are acting so crazy about it. They're trying to tell me, oh, now that you have all this money from the bonus, you're going to spend it on us, right? Well, I don't know how to tell them I worked for this money. So I'm going to have to resort to some drastic measures. I honestly don't know what to make of the new developments in my life. But I've heard this place is a good place to get advice, so here it goes. I'm 27, female, working in corporate, and I've just gotten my big break. My life has literally changed for the better, but there have also been some very unwelcome changes that have left me feeling uneasy. My husband, he's 28, currently unemployed. He thinks that I'm just being paranoid. I'm not. I don't know. I don't trust my mother-in-law not to do to me what she's been doing to her kids all these years. Let me just explain the dynamics to you a little bit. My husband and I still live with his mother to save money. We live in a cottage attached to their main home and have been for the past couple of months. My husband got retrenched and has been looking for a job ever since. My sister-in-law, she works and pays her mom's bills, and I'm only responsible for my bills as we've been quite a lot of things to pay for. His grandfather was the one who told us that we could move into his old house and use the cottage until we were simply back on our feet. I've been working on a very major project at work. It's taken about a year, but finally all is done. I put a lot into it. I buried my head into the work because it helped to tune everything else out. The reason I would need to tune everything else out is because home is so stressful. My mother-in-law can be quite unreasonable with me. She ignores me when it pleases her, and when she remembers me, she hassles me. She makes me feel bad about myself and compares me to her daughter, who is doing very well for herself and is quite popular in town, by the way. I've tried explaining to her that my job is just as important, and she has disregarded me each and every time, and it would be an understatement to say the way she treats me sucks. But you know what? I'm actually used to it. I know that I'm treated like an intruder here, and I've been dreaming of moving out. The only thing we need is for my husband to move out, but now it seems that we don't need to wait for that all because I've just gotten a raise and a bonus. My work was so good over the past year that they felt my duties were of a higher pay grade. My jaw dropped when I saw my bonus. I thought that they had a misprint on it. Surely it was, 5,000? Not 50,000? No, it was 500,000 that I had somehow earned due to my hard work and dedication. I guess it might be overworked because working keeps my mind from wandering, and I just don't have to think about our debts and just wonder if I'll have to pawn my wedding ring so that we can pay off the next installment. That's because we used to have a very good life. My husband was ballin', like the kids say, bringing in 6 figures a year. We had an apartment we were leasing on the good side of town, and both of us had good cars. We always had what we needed, and we had friends in some high places. And then the company that he was working for, the company that he had shares in, it just collapsed. Unfortunately, he was liable for some of the losses, and we lost all the savings we had. In the end, we were worse off than we were when we started, on just surviving on a low salary. And of course, we were people who had a field day with this. People like his sister. So when we moved in, she made a joke that I would have to get used to staying in a matchbox. This is because she and her mother had refused to let us stay with him. After all, the house was given to her mom by her father-in-law, but at least the cottage still belonged to Grandpa, who was kind enough to let us stay. From that day that we moved in, they treated me like I was a loser and laughed at me right in my face. But what is worse for my husband, who has to spend more time with them than me? They make him run every stupid errand there is and fix things that are not broken every day. They say things that break him down every chance that they can. I speak up against them, but they're too loud and condescending. They're two bitter women who cannot be happy for anyone. This is why I'm inclined to take that big step of moving out. But first, I must find out how much we will have after the bank's taken its share.
It's such a pity that I don't get to enjoy my hard-earned money, but it has to be expected, is it not? But whatever is left, I so do not want to keep on living here with these vultures. Let me paint a picture for you about how they reacted when they found out how much I got. Firstly, no one told them about my bonus. My sister-in-law was the one who was snooping in my closet without permission. She has this problem of borrowing my clothes. I told her not to do it many times, but she did not listen to me. She found my pay slip in one of my suit jackets and decided to just go and blab to her mother about it. When I got home, mother-in-law invited us over to go eat dinner, which was really rare. She's usually just so stingy with her food and, I don't know, would never feed someone who did not pay for it. As you may have guessed, she brought up what her daughter had seen so casually and asked me why I did not tell them. Well, I told them that I did not think it was something that needed to be announced. My mother-in-law looked incredulous and asked me if I was used to getting such a large amount of money. So, why was I staying in such a cottage? I then explained to her that with our situation, we would have to use what was left after paying all our debt sparingly. I also added that it was up to us to decide what to do with the money very politely. My mother-in-law then flipped the script, started talking about how it was such a big achievement for the family. She claimed that she always knew that all of those hours that I put in were going to amount to something. I thanked her, but asked her how they knew about my bonus. She told me how my sister-in-law found it and flipped. I told her that she had no right to be looking through my stuff. One day she was going to look through my stuff and find things that she was not looking for. I warned her to stay the hell away from my stuff. It was not getting funny anymore. I did not wear her clothes, so that gave her the right to wear mine. She just laughed as if she has done was something not very serious. She told me to make such a big deal because the hours that I was working were making me cranky. This is when my husband chimed in and said that she should never ask for our keys under false pretenses again, and that we were out. We did not even eat the food that she cooked. When she got home, I told him that I did not even want to spend another night in the same yard as them. They're poison. He said that they were a bit too much, but maybe we should wait till things are more stable. A huge chunk of money could go towards the debt, and we might still need to stay with them for a bit. But I'm not feeling it. What's the point of living free when you're treated like this? Yeah, this place is like a cage to me, and I want to get out so badly. This is how bad it is. What do you guys think? I want to start looking for a place right now. Regardless of our situation, but he wants to wait. I'm not going to wait till those jealous women find a way to ruin this for me. I just know that they're going to, and I want to be prepared for when that happens. Update number 1. Well, it appears that I was right about those two being jealous of the money that I got. I would rather not stay with them for much longer, but, well, the way things look, it might be a while. That's because my husband's just dropped the bombshell on me. He's begged me to stay for just a while, and, well, why might you ask? Because he finally got a job. It's a 3-month contract out of town, and the money's good. Everything's paid, travel, accommodations, so we can use the money for our future. He had to leave this week. This is about 2 weeks after I fought with him and his mom and sister, and since then they've been pretty respectful towards me, to the point where they asked if I would want to take on one of the bigger rooms in the house. My plan was to get a crappy motel till my husband got back. That's because it's winter at the moment and the cottage's roof is not the strongest, due to the fact that it can leak. So they thought to be nice to me and told me that I could have one of the rooms till he gets back. As you can imagine, I did not want to stay with them for any moment. But my dear darling husband begged me. He said that at least they would be able to keep an eye on me for him. I asked if that meant that he could not trust me. But of course, he had to remind me of the real reason that I cannot live alone. It's not something that a lot of people know and that I would want to share with them. Besides, I'm on medication now. Nothing will happen to me. But the man was adamant that he needed me to stay with family members because he worries too much about my health. Well, I've decided to do this because I know how much the job is going to mean to him. He's been unable to properly work for months and it's driving him crazy. I'm sure that he cannot wait to get back on his feet, so I will sacrifice for him. Besides, the more money he has, the better house we can afford to get ourselves. And who knows, his contract can be extended and then we'll be back to living a comfortable life. I honestly don't want the life we had before. It was too flashy and glammy and unnecessary. What I want is comfortable, white picket fence house, food on the table, bread, and both of us being fulfilled in our careers. I so hope that we'll have kids as well. It's very interesting how perspective can change due to situation. Updates. Well, just when I thought things could not get worse, they do. I don't want to accuse a person of lying, but all the signs are pointing at it. It's only convenient because she wants a piece of my money, and I'm right to want to prove that she's really sick before I borrow her money or help her with anything. I don't know. All of it just smells like lies. So I'm just so upset and confused right now. So I started to blab. Let me tell you what happened with my sister-in-law and why I think that she's fake being ill. Not long after my husband left, they started to ask me for money for the most stupid things. In the beginning, I gave what I could, but after a while, I told my sister-in-law that she had a job and she could get the stuff for herself. Whenever I bought something, they would look at me with these jealous expressions in their eyes, and they would not want to talk to me and make these snide remarks about how rich I am now. I hated that any time I talked to them, it was about money. So I did what I could to stay off their radar. I never left my room. I simply made sure to wake up very early in the morning and usually skip dinner. I would tell them that I had to call my husband, and when I did that, I would just disappear. This is what my life was for like a very long time, and guys, I was absolutely miserable. And then came the time when my sister-in-law dropped the bombshell on me. She came up to me crying, saying that she had no idea how she was going to tell her mom this. Well, I asked her what she meant by saying that she was very sick and that it was possible that she would have to quit her job. She works in advertising and does occasional, modeling. I asked her why that would be the case, and she told me that she's been feeling shaky lately and has been passing out. Well, so she went to the doctor, who told her that she might have epilepsy and an autoimmune disease. She said that some mornings she could, not even function. She was a mess because of this, and I had no one to turn to. She then asked me if something happened to her. Would I be able to take care of her mom? I did not know what to say then. After all, this was terrible news. I might have said that I'll do the best I can, and a couple days later, her mom came to me and told me that the doctor had confirmed that my sister-in-law would need to go for treatment. We'll know soon if she can work, but chances are that she'll not be able to. Do you understand what that'll mean for us if she's unable to work? We cannot move out. We're going to have to take over from her and help my mother-in-law out with the money. That means that any freedom that we want is gone. As you can imagine, I'm not okay with this whole thing. I don't blame her for getting sick, but this was the worst time for her to fall ill. I'll update you soon enough. Update. First of all, I was shocked by some of the comments that I got. I got a negative comment that said that despite all that happened in the past with my sister-in-law, I seem to be the big red flag. Well, you said that may not wanting to take care of a sick relative shows what kind of person that I am. I have a couple of things to say to the person who said that in the comments. Illness does not excuse a person's past behavior. If you want to be treated well when you're ill, then treat others well when you're healthy. This is the woman who refused to give me a couple of $100 for my medicine when I was down and out. Her reasoning was that she wanted to go shopping and did not want to cut her budget. On the other hand, there was another comment that stood out to me. This one user who commented, they gave me kudos for standing up to myself. She reckons that this is just a ploy to get at my money, since they've tried many times to get at it already. I have to say, you know what, I kind of agree. It's possible that she's faking being sick, even though I've seen the medical records, which show that she's suffering. Nonetheless, a decision has to be made. My decision is that we're going to sort it all out when my husband comes home. It's 2 weeks before he gets back, and my sister-in-law's been in and out of the hospital for the past few weeks. She cannot book as many gigs anymore and is barely working remotely. Luckily, she appears to have medical aid, but they only cover so much. She has not had any cash to spare for the house, so I have to take responsibility for that, and I'm suffering. I don't know if I told you, but a significant portion of the bonus went to Dad, and we put the rest into an account. We've been looking for a house for a while now, but things are so uncertain. But because things are falling apart in the house, I have had to dip into those funds to fix a few things up. My mother-in-law is always complaining that something's broken. I fix whatever it is because I feel so bad for her. She's very worried about her daughter and is scared to lose her. She's told me this numerous times, and each time it does hurt my heart. I would imagine this is how my husband felt when I was severely ill years ago. So, I worry that I'm going to fall into the trap of providing for them. And, well, then the next thing I know, it's 10 years down the line, and I'm basically their slave, and I've done nothing for my life. I'm always just extremely tired. And my husband decides to find a younger woman who's less tired and cranky than me while I'm falling apart, taking care of his family. Well, that could happen. By then, my self-esteem will be so low that I'll stay for crumbs. This is not a myth. It's the truth of what's happened to so many other people who have let their in-laws absolutely control them. I know what it seems like. I'm blowing the situation out of proportion, right? But I've seen this happen to my own mother. She was not free till the day she decided to take us and start over with absolutely nothing. Is it wrong for me to want to leave them to fend for their own? It's not like we're the only family that they have. So why is it that we have to bear the brunt of the situation? Updates. Thank you all for the comments. They really help to put things into perspective, and they're my only comfort after what's happened. I have few words for what exactly happened, except this crap has hit the fan. It's been 2 months since my last post, and my husband came back home, only for my sister-in-law to emotionally blackmail him into asking me to give her a huge chunk of my money, so that she could get treatment that would help her feel better enough so that she could work. That was a tad bit too far for me. She knew exactly what she was doing, and then there was nothing I could do to prove that she was not seriously ill as she claimed. And I could not exactly access her medical records, could I? But I could sure prove to them that she did not need treatment and she was okay. Well, I called in a favor from an old friend. I asked him to contact her and to tell her that she had won a trip to a resort where there would be parties, food, drinking, and so much more. These are all the things that she cannot do because her doctor said that she has to be in bed at all times taking her medicine. I gave him the go-ahead to send her the invitation, and I waited. It could go one or two ways. She could decline the prize due to medical reasons, or she could go. She would also then pay the admin fee, which is just a way to make sure we had proof that she paid to go there. It was a very small amount, but not the money that she was supposed to have. We waited eagerly for her to respond, and then, sure enough, like clockwork, she did. She was in. She just needed time to pay the admin fee, and, well, we gave her a couple of days, and in those days, my husband told me that she needed to leave the city for some treatment and needed about $1,000 for transport and food. I asked if the treatment was not going to cost a lot of money. He said that she said it was experimental trials, which were free. The admin fee I asked her to pay was $75, not the money she asked from my husband. I told him to give her the money, and then there was phase 2, the pills. I went and switched out her pills for edible candy. I then had the ones that she was taking tested. They were just aspirin. Maybe she would notice the difference, but I did not think so because she does not even take them. I've seen her act very suspicious every time she has to take her pill in front of everyone. It's fair to say that I've been seeing her for months now, so that was the stage 2 of the plan. And so then we waited. My sister-in-law left the house on a Friday so that she could go to her luxury resort. I also left the house on that day and told my husband that I had a surprise waiting for him and mother-in-law, but they had to meet me at a certain location. Liv was at a welcome party that she assumed was just the start of the festivities. She was dancing, drinking, and having fun, very lively for somebody who claimed to be so sick. One had never seen her alive as on that day. I wish she would have seen the look on my husband's face when he saw her. He said that there had to be a way she lied to him and went to some stupid party. No way! My mother-in-law, on the other hand, was trying so hard to not bite her lips off. This was not as pleasant as one would have liked. She walked up to Liv and snatched the drink from her and poured it all over her face. That's when Liv looked past her and saw us, and there was me with a smug look on my face, and she tried to protest it, saying that it was all a mistake. But I provided proof of her paying the admin fee. She tried to act like she was having the fit, and my mother-in-law tried to feed her the pills, and she got better. Then I took a mouthful of them and ate them, for it was just candy. It was an awkward ride home. Alas, I must go now. It appears there's shouting downstairs, and I must find out what the commotion is. But, well, be sure that I will report back to tell you when I've seen. Update. As I promised, guys, I am back, and it's juicy. As if things could not get any better for her, the girl is not sick at all. She has no choice but to admit it, and do you know the best part? She told us that she was not the one who planned all of this. Her mother told her to do it. Her mother denies knowing anything about it, and she said that her daughter was a spoiled brat and needed to be taught a lesson. Liv's response to that was to ask her why she was suddenly switching sides now that she had been caught. She was the one who told Liv to ask my husband for all that money for her treatment. She was also the one who wanted her house to be renovated and would have done anything to get the money. My mother-in-law denied all of this and ended up getting into a screaming match with my sister-in-law. My mother-in-law then said it was clear that Liv needed to leave the house because she was causing conflict between us. But Liv carried on, saying that her mom was the one who was the mastermind and trying to take the spotlight off her, and she had proof. In fact, she was so fed up that she thought everybody in the family deserved to know about this. You might be wondering what she meant when she said that, right? The girl went upstairs and would not leave for hours. We tried to talk to her and tell her that she needs to come out, but she would not. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law was spewing the vilest of things about her daughter. This was the same daughter that she used to praise more than her own baby boy. The irony was not lost on us at all. She was a fair-weather parent who would be on the side of one with the most money. But there was no proof, and nobody had any idea what was going on with my sister-in-law. This is until we all received the same message. It was the head of the family, Grandpa, and he said that he had heard there was a chaos happening in his house, and it needs to be sorted, so long story short, there's going to be a meeting tomorrow, and it's going to determine how we move forward. From his tone, he seems to be all business, and he's going to leave no stone unturned. Guys, I'm so unbothered right now. They dug their own grave, and now they're going to lie in it. They could have left us to leave just in peace, but instead they decide to try to extort money from us. I'm hoping that Gramps gives out the appropriate punishment for them. I'll update ya. Final update. I know, it's been 3 days, guys, but I said I would post an update, but then I got caught up. You see, the meeting started later than we could anticipate it to start because Grandpa was coming from far away. By the time he got to the house, well, it was late and he wanted to rest. So then the next morning we had the meeting. Some family members joined us over video so that they could weigh in on it. My mother-in-law only admitted to one thing, not wanting her son to leave her. She said that she was worried about what would happen to her because her daughter got sick. Her daughter then told her that she was talking nonsense. She did not care about her at all, and she had proof. That's when she pulled out a receipt after receipt, proving that mother-in-law was the mastermind. She even told us that it was mother-in-law's connection that got her the fake medical document, providing that she was indeed sick. Mother-in-law was absolutely furious after that and broke character. She said to Liv she thought she asked her to destroy all the evidence in case they get caught. By then, Grandpa was done. He said that he did not need to hear another word. He felt that what they have done was dangerous, dishonorable, and much more. Because of that, he consulted with several family members, and they decided the best punishment was exile. Yep, that's right, exile. They were told to leave the family house. Nobody in the family would take them in or have any contact with them again. What he says goes, no matter what. He's Grandpa. Grandpa might be ruthless, but it's his home. He got her to sign over the house to my husband, and then she and her daughter were shown the way out. Who knows where they went, but I hope to never see them again. Anyways, so this is what happens when you trust your instinct. Even if people tell you that you might be crazy, if something feels off, guys, you should probably follow your gut. That's how so many people in the past used to survive. But I've noticed that these days most people ignore their gut feelings because logic or their heart might be clouding their judgment. That's what my husband did and learned the hard way. Okay, this is something that has just happened now, and guys, get this. I got off the phone with the hospital. It appears that my sister-in-law and mother-in-law got into a very bad altercation. There are no more details about who started it right now or how hurt everybody is. I'm going to have to wait to hear from the grapevine because there's no way I'm going to check. Well, what Grandpa says goes, and there's no longer a part of our family. And they don't deserve sympathy no matter what form they're in. Am I shocked? No. When they left, they were absolutely not on good terms with one another, and were blaming each other for what happened. They could have done anything to hurt one another because neither wanted to accept the fact that they lost their family and were equally to blame for what happened.
I mean, this story was just an altogether mess. We had the sister-in-law, the mother-in-law, both in on it, and they needed the grandfather to come and sort of mediate between what exactly was going on. I want to hear from you guys what exactly you would have done in this position. Say, for instance, you were OP, and you had to deal with this absolute toxic family knowing everything that you do is just not good enough. Let me know in the comment section down below, how do you go about handling this sister-in-law nightmare? Guys, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every single day. And if you guys want to be a part of these daily drama readings, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.